Shalom, 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 shalom. First off, giving all honor and praises to the Most High and to His Son Yahushua. We the Battle Axes of the Most High coming to you with another Sabbath class. The name of today's class is Passover Preparation Q&A. Passover Preparation Q&A. And we kind of want to cover these things to make sure that brothers and sisters have a good understanding on how to prepare themselves for the Passover. I say brothers and sisters should already be getting in the spirit of Passover, even right at this moment, even before then. You know, shalom, Shabbat shalom to brothers and sisters that are watching online. Shabbat shalom to brothers and sisters in class. We say we want to make sure that brothers and sisters have a good understanding about how to prepare for the Passover. We say this thing is very pivotal in this walk, especially as brothers and sisters come into this truth. This is the major high holy day that brothers and sisters need to be always preparing for. Thankful that the Most High God has given us another grace period to guess what? To repent for sins that brothers and sisters have accumulated over this past year. You know, we can't thank the Most High God enough for these things, man, and understanding the trueness behind it. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 22 right quick. Wait. Real quick, because I know we'll be engaging brothers and sisters, man. Bear with us among brothers and sisters. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
It was. I might be mind doing that. Testing 1 2.
Testing 1 2.
Mic check. Okay. Mic.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. What's your battery look like?
Yeah, here comes me.
Hello.
Hello.
It's
Jerubbaal.
Jerubbaal.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Test feedback.
Doing that.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Mic check. Mic check.
Testing 1 2.
Mic check. 1 2. Mic.
Hello.
Come on.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Mic.
Rock with it.
Mic check. Mic.
Yeah. All praise to the Most High. We was having some technical difficulties, but as we were saying, the name of today's class is Passover Preparation. Passover Preparation, Q&A. We want to make sure that brothers and sisters have a good understanding of the Passover and the things that pertain to the Passover. So we open this opportunity for any questions that brothers and sisters may have in class, or especially brothers and sisters that are away, that are online. Like we said, we want to engage brothers and sisters. Any brother or sister, what is one of the main things that brothers and sisters need to be doing or preparing themselves for on Passover? Any brother or sister, what you got, Soji?
Getting the leaven out of your body and your house.
Getting the leaven out of your body and your house, meaning purging all sins. Leaven is equatable to sin, according to the Bible. So that's one of the main things brothers and sisters must be trying to do and need to be doing, trying to prepare themselves for the Passover. Getting rid of any sin, any hatred, any malice. Like we say, you have any animosity, any envy. Brothers and sisters need to be praying and repenting to the Most High that He forgive those sins. So you can go into this new year fresh, and on point, and guess what? Prepared to celebrate the Passover properly. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 22.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 22.
And
almost all things are by the law purged with blood.
with what?
With blood.
And we understand in the Old Testament that we did what? How was all things almost purged by blood? Going into what? Animal sacrifice. This is what the Most High God gave us to, guess what? Be able to atone for certain sins. Now, all praise to the Most High God, we got an even what? Even holier lamb, which is who? Mashiach Yahushua, going into Christ, man. To where His blood covers what? All sins. And that's something that brothers and sisters need to give all honor and praises and glory to the Most High God, because in the Old Testament, you dealt in certain sins, your blood had to be spilled, man. Homosexuality, adultery, breaking the Sabbath, idolatry. These things was heavy, man. Now we have an opportunity to properly repent for these things, man. Read that again from the top.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 22. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood.
With what?
With blood.
We don't know.
And without shedding of blood is no remission.
Is no remission, man. So we have to give all honor and praise to the Most High God that we have a chance to guess what? To pray for remissions of sins, man. That thing is heavy, man. And we have to take the opportunity to really focus and really concentrate on those things, man. You brothers and sisters, every one of us know what we deal with as a nation and on an individual level, whether it's lust, whether it's certain things that brothers and sisters are embarrassed to confess to one another. Hey, you can always confess to the Most High, but you need to be constantly trying to do what? Overcome those sins, man, eventually. Because if you don't, then guess what? We're doing these things for nothing. Let's go to the book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 9. Just a few precepts we kind of want to open up with while brothers and sisters are putting in questions. Brothers and sisters, brothers, make sure y'all monitor that. We want to make sure we do cover that. Yeah, go ahead, Sister Heavy now. Like I said, it's open Q&A. Make sure you just type your questions in on the chat. We say that's what this is open for brothers and sisters online, for brothers and sisters in class. So make sure we're covering everything. Any questions, Passover, or anything pertaining to Passover. And then we take all questions. You get there, read this out.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 9.
But he that
Lacketh these things is blind and cannot see far off, and hath forgotten that he was purged from his old sin,
Read that again from the top.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 9. But he that lacketh these things is blind and cannot see far off, and hath gotten that he was purged from his old sins.
So we want to make sure in this truth, getting ready to prepare ourselves for the Passover, that brothers and sisters are not walking blind, not walking spiritually blind, meaning not able to see the things that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. We can't play the games in this truth, man. And each year is an opportunity to do what? To perfect your way in this truth. It's not a time to where we should be what? Getting worse. We should be, guess what? Increasing more and more to that end, man. Read that again from the top.
2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 9. But he that lacketh these things is blind and cannot see far off, and hath forgotten that he was purged from his old sin.
And we have to remember that, guess what? We have to be prudent in this walk. We have to have a vision for our nation, man. We have to be able to see these things spiritually. We have to be able to see these things spiritually, and more importantly, be able to catch ourselves what? In real time. That shows growth when we're in this truth. Read on up.
Verse 10. Wherefore the brethren,
Hold on, read that last part again for me.
come and have forgotten that he was purged from his old sin.
And we can never forget that we was what? Purged from our old sins, because we all are worthy of what? Of death when it comes to this truth. Think about 30, 40 years being in the world. Guess what? It never equates in this truth, man. So we always having to do more and more to do what? Basically make up for what our wicked behinds did in the past, man. Always, man. And we can never forget what the Most High God had Christ do for us. Read that last part again,
And have forgotten that he was purged from his old sin.
And that's something that we can never lose sight of, that we was purged from our old sin, whatever brothers and sisters dealt with. Read on.
Verse 10. Wherefore the brethren,
Give
diligence.
Give what?
Give diligence.
That's something that brothers and sisters must do in this truth. We must be what? Diligent in this truth, man. Read on up.
To make your calling and election sure.
To make our calling and our election sure. Because guess what? The called and the elect is only for who? Israel, man. What precept is for the elect, Brother Renard? So we want to see if brothers and sisters is woke out here.
45, verse 4.
Let's get that right quick. Because Christians don't understand the epistles of Paul or the writings of Peter. Peter clearly clears it up, even in the first verse where he tells you that these things are written to the saints. The saints are the Israelites, the called are the Israelites, the elect is the Israelites. So we asked them for the precept for elect. Brothers should be what? Preparing themselves to give what precept? The call. Brothers should already be on those things, man. Sisters should be following along as well. Sisters have to have this understanding. You get that, read that out.
The book
Book of
Isaiah,
chapter 45. Book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect.
Mine what?
Mine elect.
And Israel, mine elect. Everybody is not the elect of the Most High. Only Israel is the elect. Where brother got the precept for call. What you got, twin?
Isaiah 48, 12.
Let's get that right quick. Brothers is on it. We want brothers to be on it. We want sisters to be on it as well. I know we may not call on sisters, but that don't mean that sisters shouldn't spiritually know those things. Be in the spirit with us to be able to, guess what, go to those precepts. And we say we want to be like a well-oiled machine. And that's something that brothers and sisters need to prepare themselves for as well, man. You know, being in more unity with the congregation, being in more tune with these things, man. That's how we build a strong nation. You get that, read this out.
the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 12. Hearken unto me, O Jacob.
Oh, who?
O Jacob,
Read on.
In Israel.
And who?
In Israel.
Read on now.
My call.
My who?
My call.
And this is literally going what? Precept upon precept to give the understanding. Everybody is not the called. Everybody is not the elect according to the Bible, man. Like we said, we ought to obey God rather than who, brothers? Rather than men. Men that drive us in confusion every time. Let's go back to 2 Peter. Chapter 1 and start at verse 10 again.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 10. Wherefore, the brethren, give diligence.
Give what?
Give diligence.
Read on.
To make your calling and election sure.
Read on.
For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall.
Read on.
Verse 11. For so an entrance shall be ministered unto you abundantly.
Oh, what?
Abundantly.
Read on.
Into the everlasting kingdom of our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Yahushua.
Into the everlasting kingdom of our Lord and Savior, man. And that thing is heavy because in order to get that kingdom, guess what? You have to do what? Keep Passover. You have to be keeping the ceremonial laws. What brother can name me the 5 sets of laws? What you got, brother Ezekiel? Yeah.
You got ceremony.
What is the ceremonial laws?
Ceremony is going to
Like the high holy days.
war laws,
What is that going into?
how to deal with them.
Yeah. We deal one with another. Brotherly love. Read on. Go ahead.
Civil laws,
You got the civil laws. What does the civil laws goes into?
civil laws, laws of man, how to deal with
With restitution with one with another, all those things circumference in that. Go ahead.
you got sacrificial laws. And then
What is the sacrificial law?
Let's go back into the Levitic priesthood and how we sacrifice, wave offerings.
To atone for what? The sin. And what else? What's the last one?
That's the dietary law.
The dietary law. What does that pertain to?
That's the one that's lawful to eat from law.
That's right. And brothers need to know those 5 sets of laws. Sisters need to know those 5 sets of laws and what they mean. It's not enough for us just to know what they are. We need to know their offices. And this is how brothers and sisters, guess what, get more well equipped with the scriptures. We got any questions on there?
We supposed to treat the Sabbath like
Yeah. Officer Barakaya. Capt Jerubbaal. Change the speaker out. Go ahead, Captain Jerubbaal.
Brother Lamar Ben Judah said, are we supposed to treat the Passover like the Sabbath?
It is a Sabbath, but it's qualifications that we must do on the Passover. Let's go to the book of Exodus. So even like that's the spirit right there, because we know that the high holy days are counted as Sabbaths, but it's different ways that you celebrate these Sabbaths. So we know that the new moon is considered a Sabbath, but the new moon is not like what? The 7-day Sabbath. What brother? Sisters online too. What is the difference between the 7-day Sabbath and the new moon? What can we do that we can't do on the other? Buy and sell. All praise. We can't buy and sell, and what else? Cooking. Not buy or sell, Salaki. That's correct. Yeah. We can't buy and sell on the Sabbath or the new moon, but it's what? Cooking. There's no cooking on the 7-day Sabbath, but we can cook on the new moon. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 12. So this is a different type of Sabbath, Brother Lamar. And we have specific instructions on how to celebrate this high holy day. You get there, read that out. Exodus chapter 12, verse 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
The beginning of what?
The beginning of months.
What is the name of the beginning of months? What you got, Soji Hood? Abib. What does Abib mean? Help me out, Brother Bala. Ear of corn, meaning when it start, think about it, the spring, when things start to what? Spring back to life. We're able to pluck the ears off, the ears of corn off to be able to do what? To harvest those things. Things like food is springing back to life. The earth is springing back to life. Guess what? Brothers and sisters should be springing back to life, man. Their spirit should be springing back to life, man. This is a glorious time that we're living in, man. We're coming back to our Most High God. We're seeing what things happen on the earth that's prophesied in the scriptures. Nation versus nation. We're seeing these things unfold. Keep reading, now.
Verse 3. Speak unto all the congregation of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
Because why do any other nation need to keep Passover? What did the Most High God say to them for? That makes absolutely no sense, man. So they love to pull Exodus chapter 12, verse 43, but those things don't pertain to them, man. Read on.
Speak unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb.
Every man a who?
Every man a lamb.
So the Most High God has given us specific instructions. On the 10th day of this month, we should be trying to what? Get a lamb. Read on.
According to the house of their fathers.
So however big your house was, read on up.
A lamb for an house.
And
if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls.
So this also goes into what law? More law, which is what? Loving your brother as you love yourself. Because you're able to do what? To share that lamb with your brother. If you had a small house and your brother had a small house, guess what? Y'all could come together in the spirit of the Most High God, and guess what? Keep Passover together. Read on.
And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb.
So on this first thing, you have to, what, Brother Lamar? Get you a lamb. This is something that we don't do on a 7-day Sabbath. Read on.
Verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year.
And that lamb without blemish symbolizes what, brothers? Christ. Read on.
You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goat.
So we can actually eat sheep or goat, but we know we preferably do what? We choosing the sheep, man, and symbolize of Christ, man.
You know, that goat be a little funky, man.
You know, but the scriptures say we can do it, but hey, brothers is preferably, I'm talking about 9 times out of 10, man. Choosing that sheep or that lamb, man.
9.5.
For real, probably 9.9. Read on.
Verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month.
So we commanded to keep the lamb, and we understand that, guess what? If brothers are able to do these things, guess what? Do these things. You know, we were able to do these things according to the scriptures. You don't know about this year.
I don't know, man. Let's see what we can try to see. Throw a needle in the haystack.
Lord's will, man. But we understand that brothers, because I know brothers and sisters have seen us over the years, like actually get a lamb and slaughter the lamb. We're not doing it for a sacrificial offering. We're just showing brothers and sisters on how to properly prepare a lamb. That's all that was going into. You got some? Read on. You got some? Go ahead. Read on.
And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it.
Shall what?
Shall kill it.
Read on up.
In the evening. And they shall take up the blood and strike it on 2 side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it.
What was the blood? Why did they strike the blood on the doorpost? For what? No, it was for the atonement of sin. That was the sacrifice. The lamb was for the atonement of sin. But what? There's too many answers at one time, man. So the Lord wouldn't kill us, man. That's what the doorpost, the blood on the doorpost is for the Lord won't kill us. Y'all gotta think about it. The Lord sent the death angel in the land. So when the death angel came in the land, if he flew past your house, flew flying past your house, and you don't see no blood on your door,
You just take it out.
your ass was grass. Right? You gotta think how symbolic the Passover is, though. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But that's the spirit that we should be in right now.
Fat man, come teach the class.
That's what's symbolic for the Passover around this time. Around all of our new moons, our feast days, you should want to put yourself in the spirit and mindset of what our forefathers were going through, our foremothers and forefathers were going through at the time. This should be on your mind to be like, man, you know, we literally had to put blood over our doors so the Lord would.
Y'all think about this. This was a physical thing that we had to literally do. Now think the Lord is dealing with us spiritually. Think about the blood post we supposed to put on our door spiritually. Class, teach the class. Alley-oop class. This is spiritual blood we supposed to be putting on our doorstep, man, on our temple. Class, brother. Class. This should be alley-ooping. All these things need to come out. Hey, in these next few weeks, these things should be, bro, we should be, hey, Passover knowledgeable.
That's right.
You know? Go ahead.
Keep reading now. Verse 8. So like I'll read verse 7 again. And they shall take up the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night. In that what? In that night. So we know our Passover is what? April the 21st at even. We got to learn to be prompt on those things too. Because like we always say, we can't be on CP time when we Israelites there. And Most High God said that the chair is going to be out there at a certain time. Brothers and sisters will miss that thing, man. Brothers and sisters straight up miss that thing, man. We got to learn to, guess what, to be prompt back in order as a nation, man. These things are pivotal. And guess what? This is that time to do it. Because this is a what? A righteous rehearsal, man. Read on out. Come. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire. Roast with what? Roast with fire. That roast with fire is going into what? Just putting it on the grill. You ain't supposed to make a lamb souffle, lamb soup, and all this. No, the Bible is giving us specific instructions on how to do it. Read on. And unleavened bread. And unleavened bread. That's something that brothers, hey, you have to prepare yourself for those things, man. Go ahead.
Because verse 3 give you the whole detail of what you should have beginning the Passover. I mean, verse 8 is like give you the whole detail. It's giving you the big three. Like if you, I mean, I know a lot of times, brothers and sisters, man, when we read scriptures, these things, brothers and sisters should be highlighted in their Bible and writing down beside it because this is right here concerning what you need to do, man.
That's right. Keep reading now. And like I said, verse 8 is heavy. Read that. Verse 8, and they shall eat the flesh in that night. In that what? In that night. Roast with fire and unleavened bread and with bitter herbs. And with bitter herbs. What question you got, brother? Brother Bilal?
Bitter herbs, like what's the example of bitter herbs?
Bitter herbs would consist of like horseradish. And like we say, remember, we got technology at our fingertips. So all brothers would have to do is do what? Type in bitter herbs. And it'll put it in there. They say romaine lettuce. But the thing is, you want something that's literally bitter to the taste. Go ahead,
Bitter herb going into like
Yes, it is. That's the next question. When brother and sister have a precept, what does I'll put it this way, what does the bitter herbs represent? What you got, sister princess? The hard bondage. You got a precept? All praise. And that's what brothers and sisters should be equipping themselves with, man. All praise. Like we say, it's not just the brothers that learn in here amongst the battle axe. There are sisters that learn as well, man. Get there, read this,
The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 13. And the Egyptians.
No, you good.
Oh, Exodus chapter 1, verse 13. Starting verse 12. It's like verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved.
And they were what?
And they were grieved.
We don't know.
Because of the children of Israel.
Meaning what? The Egyptians. Even today, what do you think America is doing? They're grieved because they know that we're waking up as a nation of people, man. We just have to learn to start seeing these things in the spirit, man. We don't. I'm gonna tell you, that is why it's pivotal that you constantly read over these things. Even myself, you know, we get on ourselves, man. Changing schedules and so forth. You have to make that time. You have to push yourself to those things, and that's something that, guess what? I got to do more, man.
Man, look. Us as captains, we telling y'all personally.
That's right.
Because we have to push ourselves too. We can't, man, look, that's a real thing.
That's right.
Because guess what? When the Lord said, bless the man that read it, guess what? We got to keep pushing it so we can keep getting these blessings. Blessings, guess what? The Lord blessed me this time. What about the next time?
That's right.
What about the next time I think you got to keep pushing yourself for these blessings? Right? Go ahead, huh?
Keep reading, now.
Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor,
With meaning hard bunches, the same way America did. Read on.
and they made their lives bitter.
And they made their lives what?
And he made their lives bitter
With
hard bondage and mortar.
So this is what the bitter herb symbolized, the bitter bondage that we had in Egypt. That's why, guess what? We must be in the spirit doing these things, because guess what? We still in a bitter bondage, man. I'm gonna tell you, it may be even worse now, because what's an example that brothers and sisters could give on how this bondage may be worse?
We don't know who we are.
You're in the spirit, you're in the damn spirit.
Like we still think we Gentiles.
That's right. Because we don't even know who the hell we are. So even us just trying to teach our people, it's hard as hell, man. Because we have to break down so many damn layers just to show them who they are. That's one of the main things we have to combat, brother. You're not black, brother. Black is a color. Brother, you're not an African American. That's the name of two white men. You're not Hispanic American. That's property of Spain. We have to literally break down that barrier first just to even get to regular precepts. Read on,
Verse 14, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, and mortar, and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field.
In the what?
And in all their in brick, and in all manner of service in the field.
In the what?
In the field.
Guess what? We in all manner of service in the field. 10, 12 hours, man. Third shifts. We ain't working on third shifts like that unless you was on the night watch, man. This is a bitter bondage. Barely have the time to, guess what? To read like how brothers and sisters want to, how to properly worship the Most High God. You have to leave early for the new moons, for the Passover. This thing pisses brothers and sisters off. That's why it's pivotal that we stay in the spirit. You have somebody? No. Read on up.
And in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
Was with what?
Was with rigor.
And this is a bitter hard bondage, man. That's why we eat the bitter herbs, symbolizing the bitterness of this captivity. You understand that?
And what does that let you know? We always say this, but what does the so-called white man always tell you to do? About this, what we talk about. What are we doing when we doing these high holy days? What are we putting ourselves into? What? Remembrance. So what does the so-called white man always say to do? Forget about it. But you can pull this precept right here on, man. Right? You can go to your high holy days and show that we do these days for remembrance. Like I said, no, we're not setting no sacrifices up when we go out there and we slaughter our lamb. It's simply for remembrance, man. It's to put you in that spirit of what our forefathers and mothers went through back then, right? To wake you up. Maybe that spirit will wake up in you, man. Maybe to catch you and be like, dang. Yeah, just have a feeling like, man, I feel like I was there, man, right? But this is a precept to show you that we don't ever forget what we went through. Because when you do forget, what do you get? Complacent, right? You get complacent, man. When you do forget about what we went through, the hard bondage, man. That's why the Most High God said every year we celebrate the Passover. Put yourself in remembrance of the hard bondage so that you won't forget, man. So that you'll be that much more on fire for the Lord, right? Go ahead, get out.
Let's go back to Exodus chapter 12, verse 8. So you have examples of bitter herbs. You have thyme, basil, dandelions. They say romaine lettuce, but like you say, horseradish. But you want something that's bitter to the taste. So, like we say, when brothers go over these things, you want to make sure that you go as deep as you can to make sure you have a visual understanding and a physical understanding as well, a spiritual understanding. So, like, yes, so you want to make sure, like we say, hey, we have technology at our fingertips, man, to thoroughly go over these things, man. So we leave what? No stone unturned. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 12, verse 8.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 8. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire. Roast with what? Roast with fire. Read on up. And unleavened bread. And with bitter herbs.
And with unleavened bread. That thing is heavy. Brothers, single brothers that's out here, hey, you have to get with some of the sisters, man. To guess what? So you can have that unleavened bread those 7 days. Brothers and sisters must eat unleavened bread 7 days, man. And I'm gonna tell you, at the height of that literally teaches us what? That's ultimately what that's teaching us. What brother got the precept for unleavened?
And this is, okay, let me help you brothers and sisters out too. Because if you living with somebody, right? If you living with somebody or if you roommates with somebody, you can't, guess what? And they got living in the house. Should you eat it?
No.
Right? That's just like if they had pork or something in the house, would you eat the damn pork?
That's right.
You're not gonna touch it, man, right? So guess what? Don't battle them in their own crib. No, guess what? The Lord gonna deal with them, man. Right? Just like you gonna deal with everybody else that don't keep the Passover. So guess what? Let them do what they do. You keep the Passover as it's written. It says we're supposed to eat. Supposed to eat lamb, unleavened bread, and bitter herb. Right? That's what you're supposed to do, man.
That's right.
Right? So let's make sure that brothers and sisters stay on point with that, man. Because we know that people struggle. This time of the year, people struggle. Dang, I might can't keep the Passover because no, the Lord knows we're in captivity.
That's right.
Right? Go ahead.
And that's the whole point. That's why we're trying to do these things so we can do what? Properly serve the Most High God like how He commanded us in the scriptures. Remember, that's part of our judgments because we didn't want to do it during that time. Now, guess what? We got to pay the price in this time, man. Let's go to the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 9. Brother should already be lining it up. Sisters should know these precepts as well about unleavened.
The book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 9. A little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump.
Read that again, huh?
A little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump.
Now we understand that what leaven is symbolic to what, brothers and sisters? To sin. A little sin can, guess what, cause the whole congregation to sin. Ultimately, that goes back to what? Loving your brother as you love yourself. Because if you know brothers and sisters struggle with certain things, don't come around them doing that certain thing. That's a way that you can strengthen your brother or your sister. You know, brothers and sisters struggle with drinking. Guess what? You don't drink around that brother if you know he struggle with that. You know, that's why it's pivotal that sisters do what? Dress modestly, because a brother may be struggling with what? With lust. You know, all those things coincide one with another, man, on how we can exhort one another to do what? To be better as a nation of people.
And that goes with brothers too, because sometimes brothers be trying to come in with your cutout shirts and all that shit. No, brothers, you got to put that up too. You can't be doing that because you call these sisters to air too, man.
That's right.
Right?
It always do what goes both ways. Always, man. It's a equal balance with the Most High God, a just balance, man. Read that again from the top.
The book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 9. A little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump. Verse 10. I have confidence in you through the Lord that you will be none other, that you will be none otherwise minded. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be.
So we know the point that we really want to focus on was verse 9. What we know is ultimately Paul going into what? Getting things in order in the church of Corinth. The church is going into who? The Israelites. Just like Passover is going into only the Israelites. From Genesis to Revelation, the Bible is only about the Israelites. What brother or sister got a precept of? Leaven.
Matthew 6. Oh, no. Matthew 16 and 6.
That's a good precept as well.
You can like
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. We're going to get them both. Let's go with 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. These are precepts that should be running through sisters, through brothers' minds, through their spirits. Guess what? Being in tune with the class. What the Most High God is trying to convey to brothers and sisters. You can read that out.
1 Corinthians 5, verse 6. Your glory is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?
Leaveneth the what?
Leaveneth the whole lump.
Meaning a little sin can cause what? All brothers and sisters to go off. Ultimately, that happened to us as a nation. Through who came the beginning of sin? What precept you got? Let's see if I was right. Say it again. All praise you in the spirit. Let's get there right quick. Roll that precept. That's why we see the Most High God give masterful what? Similitudes and parables, man, that hit right home. Sirach chapter 25 and verse 24.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die.
And like we said, this is going right into what we're touching on, because that little sin that Eve went into, and even Adam, because guess what? He didn't correct her on those things. Now we're in the predicament that we're in now, that we die. During this time, guess what? We had no knowledge of evil, and guess what? We had immortality. But we lost those things because guess what? We wanted to delve into sin. We want to, guess what? Dwell into leaven. And that little leaven in the whole lump, man. So this is something that brothers and sisters must be mindful of when amongst the congregation, man. Like we said, that's why it's pivotal that brothers and sisters come in here in the spirit, because guess what? That bad attitude spirit can do what? Can jump on brothers and sisters that are not properly equipped to deal with those things. Brothers and sisters, rarely hospitality, those things go a long way, man, because in all those things are spirits, man. Read that again from the top.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Just like now, man, we still die, because guess what? We want to go into sin. Go ahead.
And that's a true statement. Like Ak is saying, you got to think about, say for instance, brother and sister come in with a spirit on them, and we have a new brother and sister come in the building, and they spirit, everybody else in the building might be strong enough to deal with it, but what if that one person that come in, they spirit ain't strong enough to deal with this spirit, right? And then that spirit jump on them. And what you think is gonna happen, man? Man, we can mess around here. That's why it's people that brothers and sisters stay in the right spirit, man. Because when that thing jump on somebody else, then here you go. We have a situation like a brother and sister out in the parking lot in that day. Because guess what? Spirit might have jumped out one of us. You got to think, man, you don't want to put that blood on your hands like that because guess what? The Lord will snatch your ass out this truth, man.
That's right.
Right? We got to be, when the Lord tells us to put our armor on, we really have to put that armor on, man, and start trusting the Lord, man. What you got?
Oh, go back to that.
Go ahead.
Go to what's that, Luke chapter 12. Yeah, go to Luke chapter 12, verse 1, right? Luke 12. Let me see. 22. I know it's 16. No, it is Luke 12 and 1, I think. Yeah, chapter 12.
Living at the Pharisees.
Yeah.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 12, verse 1. In the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people,
Right, read.
and so much that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples,
What he
first
say?
of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees.
So he told it to the disciples. He said, first of all, beware of the disciples, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Why do you think Christ asked them to be aware of the leaven of the Pharisees?
They was teaching the law, but they wasn't.
They were teaching the law, but they wasn't doing the law. So guess what? So the Lord telling them to beware of their spirits because their spirits will do what to them? It'll jump on them. That's why the Lord said beware of them, man. That's what I was touching on, man. So guess what? You think about this coming into the Passover, coming into it on a day-to-day, beware of these different levels, man. Why? Because you don't want the spirit to be jumping on you, man.
That's right.
Right?
And that's a great point that Ak is bringing out because spirits leak, man. We know spirits leak. We always bring the precept out in the book of Acts chapter 19, verse 16. You got Revelation chapter 16, 13. So we see these things, man. These spirits can constantly, guess what, jump and leap on and off of brothers and sisters, man. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7, verse 6. Brothers and sisters want to make sure that they're not being hypocrites in this walk as well. You telling brothers and sisters about the truth, but you know damn well you fully not the truth. You know, that's something that brothers have to check. That's something that sisters have to check, because sisters are the example as well, man. By their actions, by the way they carry themselves, by their countenance, their speech, conversations. That goes with brothers as well, man. Get there, read that out. Yeah.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 6 from the top. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?
So a little sin can cause, guess what? A whole congregation to sin. Read on up.
Purge out therefore the old leaven.
Read that again.
Purge out therefore the old leaven. That ye may be a new lump.
And that's the opportunity that the Most High God has given us to be what? To become new lumps in this walk. We get that every year. We pray that this is the last year so we can get the hell up out of here. Read on up.
As ye are unleavened.
As ye are unleavened. Read on up.
For even a Mashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
For everybody.
For us.
For us. Brothers got to home in that point, man. Like we say, the book of Corinthians was written to who? The saints. That's another precept that you can show that Christ died and was sacrificed for us. Brothers have to learn to link them precepts up, man, to literally cut a Christian behind, man. Read on up.
Verse 8, therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven.
So we see it all the time. We see in the order. We get rid of that old man. You put on that new man, then you what? Keep the Passover. Get rid of that old man, put on the new man, then you do what? Keep the Passover. Follow that order, man. Read on up.
neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
Don't keep the Passover with the leaven of malice and wickedness. Read on.
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
And that's another thing, brothers and sisters must become in this truth. You have to be sincere about being in this truth, man. Like, are you in it for your husband or for your wife, or because it's just the thing to do? Or are you truly in this thing because guess what? It's what the Most High God commands us to do. This can't be a fad or a phase that brothers and sisters go in and out of. No. Brothers and sisters got to be in this thing all the way to the end, man. I know we got a question. I know Sister Deborah says, Salakia Captain's question. Should brothers and sisters eat outside the home during Feast of Unleavened Bread? I mean, brothers and sisters can, but you want to make sure that those things don't have unleavened. And if you are not sure, then eat at home. So, brothers and sisters may be out. You may want a burger. Bread has what in it? So you better be eating a damn lettuce burger. You better eat a damn lettuce burger, man. Or a taco burger or something. Yeah, scoff a little bit. I'm just, you know. You just, you, hey, boy. Yeah. So, yeah. I know what you said it did. Brain clicking back in. So, but if brothers and sisters, like for a new brother or sister, you want to make sure that you extensively go through ingredients pertaining to yeast. So we know certain places do. Like I say, you have to really ask, and like a lot of times, if you call these places, they'll give you the ingredients.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna help y'all out. A lot of good places to try to go to if you want to eat outside your home. Places like halal places, or like they have a lot of breads. They have a lot of unleavened breads that they eat, like what you call it, pita bread and stuff like that. Those be unleavened type breads that they have. So they literally have a lot of stuff that's unleavened because they eat a lot of vegetables and different stuff like this. So if you want to eat like what you call it, Mediterranean type of food, those are good places to kind of eat during the Passover too. So if you want, or like you say, even if you go to a burger spot, guess what? You can get the burger spot. You can wrap it with the lettuce. What you call it? Any burger spot, wrap it with the lettuce. Man.
That's right.
Not get the bread, right? And them burgers be just as good too. All right, go ahead.
Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 15, concerning the law. Say it again.
Is it allowed sacrificing to her life?
It's a lot of things sacrificed to idols. I mean, but the Lord said we're gonna be eating the foul breads anyway. Thinking about the clothes we wear to the shoes we wear. Like, I mean, but no, we ain't eating no sacrifices to Allah though. It's just a grocery store.
Just a clean food.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 12 and verse 15. Covering all questions Passover.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
Read that again from the top.
The book of Exodus chapter 12, verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
So brothers and sisters need to prepare themselves to eat unleavened bread, what, 7 days? That thing is heavy, man. That's showing what? Like we say, discipline. Hey, that's equivalent to even brothers, like we say, fasting. Seeing if you have that discipline to go a full day or even longer in these days, man. That's a big thing to have in this walk is discipline. Discipline to take you a long way. Wake up, Brother Bilal. Read on.
Son, 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
Even the first day shall we put away leaven out of our houses. Leaven represents what, twin? Sin. That's something that brothers and sisters need to be constantly trying to do. So that April the 20th, that leaven should be out of brothers and sisters' houses, man. And even right now, brothers and sisters need to be doing what? Preparing themselves right now, not buying too much leaven on a physical note, and more importantly, guess what? Not putting no damn leaven in your body, trying to get rid of all of them. That's all. Go ahead.
So if we getting the leaven out of our houses, where are we putting the leaven? That's right. Brothers have been talking about, oh, I put it in the car.
No.
I put it outside, I put it in the garage. No. Because that's the case, that means that you letting that sin still stay with you. Or I'm gonna put that sin right outside till the Passover with. You go right back in the doors in that sin. Right? We'll make sure that that leaven is in the trash, right?
And the thing is, if the Lord gave it to you once, He'll give it to you again. It's just that damn simple, man. We can't be simple-minded. We trusting in the Lord, and He tell us to get rid of it. Guess what? He can give it back to you again, man. He done gave the world back to us, and now He 7 times, man. Right. We just didn't want it, right?
That's right.
Go ahead.
That's a great point. Read verse 15 again.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your house.
So brothers and sisters gotta have the leaven out of their houses. Read on.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Shall be what up?
Shall be cut off from Israel.
Hey, this thing is no joke, brothers and sisters, man. The Most High God will bring judgment on you, especially if you've been doing this thing for a number of years, man. And you playing with this thing and not properly removing the leaven. You want to go and sneak and eat a cinnamon roll, like that cinnamon roll can't wait till next week, or some bread because you just got to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know, no. That stuff is gonna get brothers and sisters put to death if you playing with this truth. Go ahead, huh?
Okay. Another thing. Also, what if you say, for instance, man, you in the middle of say, for you in the middle of Passover, and you find some leaven in your house. Just throw it away, man. Some people just be so hysterical. Oh, I broke Passover. Throw it away. This is what grace is for, man, right? This is why the Lord does not kill us, because He knows what your actions were from the beginning. Come on, brothers and sisters. If you find something in your house, guess what? What if it's after Passover and you find some leaven in your house? Should you keep it still? That's a good question for brothers. Y'all just think about it. What if it's after Passover and you find some leaven in your house? Should you still keep it? Oh, well, it's after Passover now. No. You're still supposed to throw it away, man, right? This is how we build. When we in the truth for real, come.
Jump up to verse 14.
Any questions real quick
For real.
concerning this? Any questions? What you got, Soldier G Hood? Don't be afraid to ask questions, brother. I see brother Renee.
But you know, people who like stockpile food, do they go throw the leaven out of that? I mean, it's there, and it's not in your house, but you might be like tempted to go try and take the leaven you got in your house and put it with your stockpile, trying to be, you know what I'm saying? So should we stockpile anything or not?
Well, we just leave the scriptures at face value. If you got 11 in that stockpile, get rid of it. And play the game. Even I just gave the understanding.
No, but
What was the understanding that he gave?
throw it out.
No. Did you hear what Capt Jerubbaal said before that? When we throw it out, the Most High God to do what? Give it right back.
Yeah, no.
2, 3, 4, 8,
That's
4,
right.
12 fold, 20 fold.
You got to think. I stockpile food. And guess what? And I get rid of the leaven every year. You got to. I mean, because scripture's not going to change just because I done did something. The thing is, what brothers and sisters got to remember about this truth, you got to conform your life to the Bible. The Bible's not going to conform to your life. Because that's what the world got twisted. They think that, oh, God know me. God no. You got to conform your life to God. God don't conform his life to you. Guess what? He picked you because he know you can do it. But you're gonna have to take the leap to trust him now, right? And that's what brothers and sisters that's why we get twisted from our God, man. Go ahead.
And it goes into give it to Captain Yara. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3. A prudent man always foresees things.
Right.
Prudent man is always looking towards the future. That's right, looking forward. So you know you have to do what? Prepare yourself if you're constantly looking forward to where you're not buying so much bread around this particular type time.
Real quick, Sister Monica had a question first. Then we get to Sister. Oh yeah, she's. Oh yeah.
I was writing it down when he was saying confirm your life. So when you get ready to make the unleavened bread, you make it every day, or you just make it for one day and it lasts 7 days?
No, you can make it probably 2. And
You can make it many times if you want
You
to.
can make it.
You just want to have enough for 7 days.
that's
Right.
right.
If you want to make enough for the week,
I asked that because
Hold up, real quick, because I know brothers and sisters seen that Plows video on that Thanksgiving. 7 days, you about to die. So you want to make sure that you do have fresh unleavened bread.
now for real, because I ain't gonna lie. One time we had some old unleavened bread. It was like, hey, we should have made this thing like 2 days ago instead of trying to eat the same first week leavened bread.
Now,
right?
I'm gonna tell you. Now, honestly, I have got, cause I don't really like leavened bread like that. I just don't like I don't like bread like that, and I don't really like sweets like that either. But I will get a block of unleavened bread and I cut that mug 7 times, and I'm gonna eat that. Guess what? I don't care. I'm gonna shove it down. I'm gonna shove it down. Guess what? Now I got a block for each day. Because I want to be lined up with the scripture. He didn't tell you to eat a handful of unleavened bread. He told you to eat it 7 days, man. Right?
You understand that, sis? Go ahead.
it's gonna be flour, right? When you make that,
Now, remember, flour is not yeast. Yeast is going into like baking soda, the rising agent. The agent that makes it rise. So I know a lot of times we hear even with eggs, you know, the number of that stuff is basically baking soda.
Right.
Basically.
I mean, you don't want to try to make things too grievous, right? The Lord said his laws are not grievous. So, like I said, even when it's on eat, let scriptures be face value, right? If it's bread without leaven, then we want to stay away from what leaven, right? They talk about agents and what is helps in the age. Just keep the commandments.
That's right. And some people might like fresh bread. Some people might want to bake it all 7 days. Some people like, so he eat unleavened bread all year long, almost, right? So hey, that's what he like. You see what I'm saying? So hey, man, you cook it. I mean, many times you want. Hey, you might be you might make enough unleavened bread for another brother that don't even have unleavened bread, or another sister that don't have unleavened bread, just to try to help keep people in the spirit, man.
And that's what we do as a congregation, right? We'll have a few sisters that really have they real good with baking and these things, right?
That's right. Like Sister Genesis.
Yep, sister. I think Naomi was making some good bread too. Brothers and sisters that really are good in cooking, right? They'll probably make more so that the congregation may have some. I know definitely Sister Genesis did that for us last year. So, days, weeks, however you want to make it, just make sure you eat it, right? That's right. You had a question, sister?
Yes, I wanted to know was crackers considered leaven?
Certain ones you have
You
to.
gotta watch. You gotta look on the ingredients because certain crackers will have it.
Now they do have what small heads called mitzvah crackers or whatnot. So you do have to do a diligent search on this.
Right.
What they would call what kosher things are. Kosher crackers, basically. Right. Even on that you have to check it, because they have. We just put it to you that way.
That's right.
So you want to make sure brothers and sisters are looking into those things, especially in certain tortillas, certain flour tortillas.
So a brother in the chat said, and I know we can give him the understanding, but he said, I was told Passover started on the 8th and the new moon was on March 25th.
Well, that depends on what moon cycle you
That's
follow,
right.
bro.
What camp you're under, what doc,
That's right.
It just depends on that.
Let's go to the book of Colossians, chapter 2. What precept could a brother bring got to answer that question? I literally just. I don't know. I'm asking y'all. Thanks, A brother was asking basically why we celebrated this day. He thought it was that day. So even like Captain Yara said, it depends on what moon you follow. Either you follow the full moon or the dark moon, and it depends on what camp you follow.
That's right.
That's why it's pivotal that brothers get with a camp that bears witness with your spirit.
That's right.
Because if you don't, you'll be all over the place. You'll be here, you'll be there, you'll be celebrating Passover 3 times out of the year.
Right.
Go ahead, Doc.
No, you just get it. Let's get it. That's a great.
Read that right quick, Doc.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 16. Let no man therefore judge you in meat. In what? In meat.
Read on.
Or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days.
It says, let no man judge you. So we know it's particular camps that celebrate the moon, high holy days on the full moon, like IUIC. Then you have other camps that celebrate it on the dark moon. So we don't judge those brothers because they follow the full moon. Do brothers and sisters understand that? We understand that the Most High God is literally going to give us the understanding. Some brothers and sisters struggle with that. Why all y'all not to goddamn
stuff? It's always different with y'all.
And it's going to be that way. For one, the Most High God is masterful at playing chess, because you think back to the Black Panther Party movie. One leader cut the head off the snake. Guess what? The whole organization failed. With this, is many camps popping up constantly to reach his people. And guess what? What is the main reason why brothers and sisters won't be on one accord? What you got, Brother Lai?
1 Corinthians 13:9.
That's right. You in the spirit, Doc. Because we know in part and we prophesy in part. Meaning no one has the full understanding of the scriptures. So we're doing the best that we can with the understanding that the Most High God has given us. Christ is going to set all those things in order because he's the what? He's the master teacher. Brothers are not going against Christ or you're going to die. Just as simple as that. So that's what that depends on. Did you finish that precept out?
Yeah. And so why would we not judge them? Because what are they doing? They still trying to do righteous rehearsals, right? That's right. It might not be the same time that we are doing it, but they feel that they see in the scriptures or see something where that might be the time. Just like Sabbath. You know, we do our Sabbath every Saturday. We got brothers that do what? The lunar Sabbath, right? Well, their Sabbath to fall in the middle of the week or something, right? We don't judge some brothers in that, right? Now we see different in the scriptures, but we don't judge them. So the brother was like, I'm not trying to be combative. He just say he wanted to get it right. That's basically why he asked the question. But you gotta understand what doctrine, what camp you're following. Right? Like I said, mainly what moon cycle you're on, right? Why keeping the feast. Go ahead, Jerubbaal.
Go to Luke right quick, chapter 9, verse 49. It goes into the same thing what Optim is touching on. Just like you say, that's why we don't judge them brothers in this right here. Because Christ gave us a better understanding on why we can't. Luke chapter 9, start at verse 49.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 9, verse 49. And John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name.
Right, read.
And we forbade him because he followeth not with us.
Right, y'all see how it's going so far? Because what's keeping high holy day, we casting out devils in the Lord's name too, right? Read.
And Yahushua said unto him,
What he say?
Forbid him not.
He said, forbid him not. Why?
For he that is not against us is for us.
Y'all see how they go? So guess what? He is not against us, is for us. Because guess what? They still doing the work too. So these things go one and the same. Well, I can touch it on, right? So again,
Any questions in here? Any questions from brothers and sisters? What question was you about to ask, Brother Renaud? You got it.
Yeah, well, no, sister touched on
Wake up, twin. Y'all rebuke that sleep spirit, man. Any questions in here concerning anything Passover?
Oh, I'm gonna help y'all. Also, we're gonna touch on this right quick. Go to Sirach chapter 29. We was touching on this on Camp 101, but these things pertaining to like because everybody that's in the truth, you might have a spouse, you might live with somebody, you might got somebody, or you might these things basically going when you live with somebody, and guess what? They not in the truth. What are not in the truth? Right? When they Passover come around. Watch what it reads. Sirach chapter 29 in verse 22.
The book of Sirach, chapter 29, verse 22. Better the life of a poor man in a mean cottage than delicate fare in another man's house.
So guess what? Now this right here, just think about what the context was going into. It's going into people living with other people. Right? Read.
Verse 23. Be it little or much.
Y'all see that? It said be it little or much. It means be content. Right? Read.
Hold thee contented. That thou hear not the reproach of thy house.
So guess what? When people stay with people, sometimes you got to think about it. If a person say you were staying with somebody, you can't go in there and run the show. That's their crib, right? You got to be content, be it little or much. You got to be content with those things, right? But read on.
Verse 24. For it is a miserable life to go from house to house. For where thou art a stranger, thou darest not open thy mouth.
He said, where you are a stranger, don't dare open your dang old mouth, man. Right? Stranger is this type of stranger is the same stranger that is talking about in Leviticus chapter 25. When you go, if you vow from the tribe of Benjamin and I went to the tribe of Judah, I'll be a stranger in that land. This is the same stranger. This is not a stranger of another nation. This is a stranger in a person's house, right? Read.
Thou shalt entertain in feast and have no thanks.
Guess what? You might cook the food in people's house and they don't even thank you for it, right? Read.
Moreover, thou shalt hear bitter words.
And they be like, damn, I'm tired of this nigga living with me, right? You hear these type of words, right? Read on.
Come thou stranger, and furnish a table.
Right, this is how they talk. Hey, stranger, come furnish my table. Read.
And feed me of that thou hast ready.
So whatever you made ready, come feed me. This is how they talk. Because if you living with somebody else, they telling you basically they make the rules of the house. You can't come and run in nothing, right? Read.
Give place thou stranger to an honorable man. My brother cometh to be lodged.
Right? Read on.
And I have need of mine house.
Read on.
These things are grievous to a man of understanding.
Guess what? These things be grievous to a man of understanding. Read.
The upbraiding of house room.
The upbraiding of house room. Read.
And reproaching of the lender.
So these things are going into people that live with people. You cannot go into their house running something. Right? Or you have a roommate. You have to respect people's boundaries. Guess what? For a person of understanding, yes, it's gonna piss you off because you know the commandments. But for them, they might not care about this. Right? Should you go crazy because they don't care about that? No, the Lord commanded us to guess what, to live peaceful with all men, especially the people of our nation, man. Right? You got to show respect. The Lord know what's going on. Right? This is the Lord's Passover, man. You think he don't know what a person doing in your household? Right? Go ahead,
I know Text Baby Ally says, question, as far as the attire, what is too much for the ladies? I want to be seen, but not over the top like prom. And the thing is, sis, even within that, you want to make sure that your spirit is being seen and not your outward appearances. Right. You know, that's one of the main things that you have to get in order first, because according to the scriptures, what scripture, sister, to my sister world, what precept should sisters go to? Sister was asking about her attire. So what precept? Now y'all on. Remember, we've been not all at once. What's the precept? What's the Bible verse? Say it again. Yeah, but what's the Bible verse? You're talking all that loud. Who said that? Speak up, sis. I can't hear you. Let's get there right quick. I couldn't even hear you. I thought sis was talking. Let's get there right quick.
This is the main thing, sisters. Yes, you supposed to dress modest. The Bible's gonna give us the full understanding. When you get there, read that out.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
So guess what? According to the scriptures, sisters should be dressed in modest apparel. Even the garments that they wear, especially for Passover, you don't want to come in here dressed out of order. You want to come in here dressed like a princess of the Most High.
That's right.
That's the standard sisters should always be looking for. Not even just around Passover, just always dressed in modest apparel, man. Read on up.
That women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety.
With shamefacedness, meaning not trying to seek too much attention. I know that's one of sisters' shortcomings. Sisters love attention. And a lot of times that's why sisters dress the way that they do, to do what? To seek that attention. Then you get that negative attention and it's hard to turn that off from a knucklehead. Read on.
And sobriety.
And sobriety, being sober. Read on.
Not with broad hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
Read on.
Which becometh women professing godliness with good work.
With what?
With good work.
It's saying that, it's not saying that you can't have those things, but don't make those things your main point, your main focus.
Right.
Let's get another precept. Go ahead.
First Peter.
Titus 2 and 3.
Okay.
You go first, Peter, right quick.
Let's go to 1 Peter, right quick, 3 and 3. It's another precept saying the same thing. Because and me and Jerubbaal always say this, you know. We don't want to look like no prom, be over the top. We know when we was in the world, if we was going to prom, we try to be the freshest, right? We try to be clean. So, you know, we're gonna try to be like look nice for the Most High God too. But the main point of that scripture was to not make that be your full focal point, right? The main thing you need to come in here wearing is what? That spirit. That's right. We need to see that spirit coming here looking real good, right? That's the main thing sisters need to be adorned with. But read this out.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 3. Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning.
So saying the same thing, don't let that be your main point. Oh, read on, just read.
Or plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel.
So you know, women they like to get their hair done. They want to go get the nice look, go to ham and tell ham to braid them up real nice, right? They get the jewelry, they go get everything to match and make it look good. But it said the outward adornment, don't let that be your main point. Right? Read on.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
But let it be what?
But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart. The main thing you need to be wearing is that spirit, man. Brothers, sisters, see you coming here and that spirit just light up the room, man, right? And look, just a great time. You know, it's gonna be a great time being around this brother today. Or it's gonna be a real great time being around this sister. She's in the right spirit. That's what you need to be wearing. That needs to be the focus point. Read. Go ahead.
But let it be the
yes, sir.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart,
in
that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
The ornament of a meek and quiet spirit. Sometimes you ain't gotta come here saying nothing. Let that be worn, right? Because what is the ornament? The ornament is something like it's like an additive. What do we call those things? We call them accessories. You know, when you wearing stuff and you accessorize. Let that be your main accessory, man. Sister, wear that. Come in here and just be quiet, meek sometimes, right? Shalom, smiling, right? Let that spirit show. Read on.
Which is in the sight of God of great price.
That's the greatest price. That's the greatest thing that sisters can wear when they do come to the Passover or any new moon or high holy day we celebrate, man. Come in here, man, with that great spirit on you, man. It ain't a price on that, right? Go ahead.
That precept we also Proverbs chapter 31 verse 30. Let's go there right quick. You can start at verse 29.
The
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 29. Many daughters have done virtuously.
It said many daughters have done virtuously, because there's a lot of people in this, there's a lot of women in this truth that done virtuous works. But it don't mean that you are totally virtuous sister, though. Because you can do some virtuous work today and be wicked as hell tomorrow. Right? It said many daughters have done virtues. Right? Read it.
Come, but thou excellest them all.
Right? Read.
Favor is deceitful.
Favor is deceitful. Read.
And beauty is vain.
And beauty is vain too. Read.
But a woman that feareth the Lord.
Read that again out.
But a woman that feareth the Lord.
Because that's what it's all about. Right? If a woman feareth the Lord, guess what? You'll know how to dress modest. That's what you see. Okay, then I ain't can't wait. It's gonna be too much. Right? Read.
She shall be praised.
She gonna be praised, man. Right? You guess what? When you know what's your intent, right? And the Lord knows what's your intent too, right? That's why there's many people that be virtuous, but everybody don't have the virtues. Everybody. It says that's why the Lord said, "But thou excellest them all," right? Being that you in that virtuous mindset all the time, right? But go ahead.
The sister said, "Well, I don't mean in the vain way." Says with the obvious fact that we must be modest, especially at the event. I was looking for points. Where the commandments? That's your point. We're not going to sit there and tell you, yeah, we're the dress with the flowers on it and the ruffles on the sleeves, you know. And now we're not telling you none of that. Where the commandments? Come here modest. Come here with this, what the scriptures say.
That's right.
Fringes,
Covered up.
modest apparel.
Breasts covered up.
That's right. If you want to
Arms
get that,
covered up.
arms, breasts, backs,
Hips covered up.
right?
Covered up.
No cleavage. I don't know how deep you want us to go into it, but
We can go deep.
yeah, we can. But
Cover that thing up.
it's covered up. So it's come with the commandments.
Because it goes into a point. It goes into a point that, like, should we come and run y'all life, man? We not okay. The scriptures say what they say. Modest apparel, man. I mean, we can't just go into more deep than that. The scriptures say modest apparel. So what do you think you're supposed to come in? Modest damn apparel.
Right.
If you tell a man to grow a beard, what you think a man's supposed to do? You can't just grow. Well, I'm just gonna grow I'm just gonna grow my crown. I ain't gonna grow the whole thing. Yeah. No, man.
Chin strap.
I'm just gonna have my chin
brother.
strap. Do what the scripture say, man.
That's right.
It ain't no long drawn out thing. It's just what the commandments say.
That's right. Like we always tell brothers and sisters, just keep it simple. Keep that thing simple, man. Cover it up. Brother Jude, what you got out?
Judith 9:2.
Yeah, that's a good precept as well. What you got, Soldier?
I was saying, just tell her to wear whatever she will meet your house out here.
Yeah.
That'll make you real much.
Man, everybody gonna be naked in his eyes. Killing off everything.
What you got, sister? Sis? Yeah. Let's go to that right quick. Exodus chapter 13. Chapter 13. Exodus chapter 13 and verse 21. The book of Exodus chapter 14. The book of Exodus chapter 13 verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. To do what? To give them light to go by day and night. So this is the Most High God sending Christ in a what, brothers?
Chariot.
A chariot to guide the children of Israel on the journey that they should go by day and by night. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel right quick. Ezekiel, what precept are we looking for, brothers?
24.
1 and 4. What you say, Brother Ezra? Oh, praise God, the Spirit. Read that right quick.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north.
So in this context, it's telling you that it's a what? A whirlwind. So the Bible defines the chariots or UFOs in many contexts. What's one context that it can be defined as? Any brother or sister? What you have, Junior? You raise your hand back there? As a what up? What you say, Soldier Donald? I thought you were. Oh, what you, as a chariot? What you have?
Like the wheel within the wheel.
Wheel within the wheel. You said a cloud. What is some other things? What you got, Brother Ocean? What is chariots also defined as? Everybody getting involved today. What you got, huh? Just right off the bat. Brother Ocean. Yeah, what is that describing it as, though? As a who? Psalms 104 is describing it as a cloud. So I already said that. So Donovan, say what you said again. Horses. They also described as horses when you read the book of Revelation, chapter 19. When Christ comes back riding on a white horse, Sister Monica, you looking confused, sis. These are just similitudes. You understand, sis? Yeah. So these are just similitudes and parables for the vehicles of the Most High. Do brothers and sisters understand that? Go back to keep reading. Verse 4.
And I looked, Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud.
So it's literally telling you a whirlwind, a great cloud. Why? Because they fly. Read on.
And a fire enfolding itself.
A pillar of fire. Read on out.
And a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
So it's showing you how Christ was in that cloud to do what? Guide the children of Israel through the night by a pillar of fire. Because think about it, man. We're in the desert, no lights. You know, a lot of times our people, sometimes we can't grasp comprehension because everything is just at the drop of our fingertips. Lights just out there on the highways. No, think about these things, man. We literally have to provide all those things. Like you literally have to make a fire and a torch to be able to give yourself light. It's nothing out there to see the animals, the snakes that's all in the desert. So the Most High God gave us Christ as that what? As that protection and as that what? That light on a deeper parabolic level.
Let's go get there right quick. Let's go to Exodus chapter 40, verse 38. It's literally saying it.
Exodus 40, verse 38. The cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day.
That's the same way he was on how he was on the children of Israel. He was a cloud by day, read.
And fire was on it by night.
And fire was on it by night, the same way he covered the children of Israel, man. I read.
In the sight of all the house of Israel, throughout all their journeys.
Right. So this, so wherever the Lord journeyed with us, he was a cloud by day and he was a fire by night.
That's right.
Like going into the same thing I can touch it.
Read, jump back up, Dariella. Question: does removing leaven also include non-bread items such as drinks, deodorant, etc.? Now, the Bible is just specific on leaven pertaining to food. But if brothers and sisters feel compelled in any leaven, they remove it. Whether it's deodorant or anything, brothers and sisters feel compelled. Now, we don't want to blur that line of being what?
Over righteous.
You don't never want to blur that line, man.
But you know, even with the water, like you said, you know, we're trying to drink the Ozarka, the spring water.
That's right.
Because we found last year we bought how many cases of water? Found out that water had got leaven in it too, man. So, you know, you just want to try to keep the commandments to your best of ability.
That's right.
So the bottle of wine, is it the amount of time that you hold on to it? Does it create
Yes, that's what creates yeast.
Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna give y'all a news flash. If you hold on to anything long enough, it'll get yeast. That's what food do. It'll ferment. Anything will ferment if you hold on to it
That's
long
right.
enough.
Oh, so that's what fermented is.
Yes,
Oh,
it
okay,
ferments.
that's ferment. Well,
Right.
that's a process of wine, right?
That's a process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fermentation is a process.
But
Right?
I'm saying like, well, so the longer you hold on to it, it'll get worse. Like it'll create more yeast or something.
In wine.
In wine. So just like, okay, have you ever seen?
That is the process to make wine.
Yeah, yeah, it's a process to make wine. I'm trying to give a good example.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't want you
Because it's like a rabbit hole, man.
Yeah, it is.
because we're hold up. Even within
It's like a rabbit hole.
we know the Bible. We're not distillers.
That's right.
You understand or not? We understand the process, but to go specifically into that, I'm not a distiller.
Right.
Because the brothers and sisters know what that is. People that make wine and beer.
Over a period of time, us looking up wines and beers that we could drink. You know, it's certain beers and wines that go through fermentation that don't have yeast. Their fermentation is not even with yeast. So it's just like you said, man, it's like we try to our best ability.
And doing an extensive search.
That's right.
Let's do an extensive search on those things. So it's certain wines, like we say, that brothers and sisters do get. I forget the name of it, even though y'all know how I get down. You know, one of the wines. I really can't remember. Do any brothers and sisters know the wine? Mama Rob, what's the name of that wine?
I'm gonna tell you what it was. That pomegranate. What's the name of it? Sis?
Morgan Davis.
Morgan Davis. That's it.
Thanks.
It was some good. I think it was good. It was some pomegranate that we had.
Yeah, I like Morgan Davis.
Right. I think you drank a little bit too.
Who had a question, sis? What was your question, sis?
I wanted to be aware to know the consequences of eating the leavened bread.
Let's go back to what brother remember the precept? What sister remember the precept?
No. It literally we just read.
Ain't nobody said down.
Yeah, for real. Hell no.
Exodus what?
Exodus 12:15.
All praise. We just literally read.
You get there, read that again. So this is the consequences, sis. This is literally in the law.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. Whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day unto the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
So that means they will be judged. In that context, that means they will be killed. It's
Well,
a
take
judgment.
that of the truth.
Say it again.
Like if you didn't know and was unaware, would the Lord allow you to repent?
Yeah, sis, that's what this is for. This is talking about, remember, in this time, he was giving us the understanding. So it's different for a brother or sister that didn't know. You understand, sis?
So do we have to go back and repent for what we didn't know, but now we know all them times?
No, that's doing too much, sis. You didn't know. You didn't know.
What's the precept, man?
So now that you know, Romans 8, this is where this applies.
Hebrews 10.
Nah. What's the precept that we give?
Brothers got
She's trying. She said she want to go back the years that she did not know.
Acts 17:30.
Oh man, damn, save him.
I mean, those are
Not
not.
the same one,
Save
man.
him, Donovan.
Romans 8:1.
Romans 8:1.
Acts 17:30.
Is that a precept?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's go to it, sis.
We're gonna go to it. Not saying that y'all precepts are not good, but y'all know how we do it, man. Like I say, y'all know how we get down, man. This is the number one precept that we're gonna pull
That's right.
to show brothers and sisters that guess what? The former things, man, you can't be concerned. You just look for it, right?
And we want brothers to roll with us in the spirit, sister to roll with us in the spirit, man. Come on, man. These are precepts that we always bring out. That's why we be hard on brothers and on sisters, because we're going over the same precepts. You know, that's one of the main things why we literally be on Bruce. We want Bruce to be in the spirit with us, man. That thing is heavy, man. We're not just saying that for no reason. When we literally in the same spirit, man, we click in as a congregation supposed to, man. That's what we need, man, for real. Go ahead and read that out.
The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 1. There's therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Mashiach Yahushua, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
So you see, it says, read that again.
The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 1. There's therefore now no condemnation.
There is what?
Now no condemnation.
What does the word condemnation mean? What's the root word? Condemn, right? Or like I said, break it down. There's no penalty for what? Read.
To them which are in Mashiach Yahushua.
So it's no penalty for you that now you are walking in the spirit and not after the flesh, right? Those former sins that we were indulging into, we had no idea about them, man. But now that we have found the truth, right? Now we are being judged. Now we found the truth, right? According to the law, right? But there's no condemnation of you of the former years not eating unleavened bread, right? You understand that?
One question.
Go ahead, sis.
I just need to understand now the purpose of the leavened bread.
Oh, yeah, you wasn't here when we could. The leavened bread is a symbolism of sin. So unleavened is a symbolism of what?
Not sin.
Not sin. So that's the point. It's a similitude that the Most High God has given us. Like we say, when we remove that leaven, we're doing what? Removing what? Sin. That's right. And then what? Eating the unleavened bread of what? Of righteousness, which is the what? The law. That's all that it is. The symbolism for removing sin, and guess what? Putting on righteousness.
That's the law.
That's right.
So remember, the Most High told Moses, man, go get the children of Israel, man, tell them to get up out of there, man.
That's right.
And we didn't even have time to put leaven in our stuff, right?
That's right.
Look at all these things for what they are. We didn't even have time to put leaven in. We had to eat it in a haste on the run, right? So the Most High, man, they gonna try to get that child, man. So just things that you need to think about.
Any other questions out there? Brothers and sisters, any questions? Don't be shy. Bring these things out. Your question might help another brother and sisters that's in here or even online. You got something online? Go ahead.
We already covered that.
Yeah, we did cover.
Let's go back to this Sirach. This is what we was covering in it.
So Lamar Ben is saying he's saying that he has a family that doesn't keep the commandments. He's asking. He says, "But what if you live with family that is not in the truth? Do you throw their leavened bread away, or just do you?"
Do you? Because your ass will be put out their house and with the bread. Put your ass. Let's go back to Rock chapter 29 right quick.
Don't do it, man.
Hello. Don't get up.
Rock 29, we're going to start at verse 24. We're going to try to get down with it.
Sirach, chapter 29, verse 24. For it is a miserable life to go from house to house.
All right, read.
For where thou art a stranger,
So where when you living with somebody, read.
thou darest not open thy mouth.
So when you living with somebody, don't open your mouth to try to tell them how to run their place. You can't run somebody's house. Right? It's just like you can't go into their refrigerator if they got pork up in their mug and they cooking pork every day. You don't run nothing. Right? I mean, you can tell them about the truth. If they say they don't want to hear it no more, I mean, well, I'm supposed to keep forcing it on them, then he put me out the house, then now you got nowhere to go. No, you can't. You don't work that way. Right? Read.
Verse 25, thou shalt entertain and feast.
So guess what? What if they want you to entertain and feast in their house? Guess what you got to do? If they say, man, look, I want you to get up. I want you to clean my living room up. I need you to clean my bedroom up. I need you to wash these drawers. Guess what you got to do? You living with them. Right? If it's your house, you make your own rules, man. right?
That's why it's pivotal that you do what? Get your own
Get your
place.
place.
Get your own place so you can set forth God's laws on how they're supposed to be set forth.
Right? Because if you don't, guess what happened, man? You'll be miserable, man.
Yeah.
Any person to be miserable living with people, man, that makes you miserable, right? You stay your way. He tired of you and you tired of them, right? Y'all tired of each other, right? Read.
Thou shalt entertain and feast and have no thanks. Moreover, thou shalt hear bitter words.
Right? You're going to hear bitter words. What's the bitter word? They tired of you and you tired of them. Yeah, well, you in your room. Guess what? You like, I'm sick of this, man. I can't wait till I get my own spot, man. You sick.
You go open the refrigerator, all the bacon gone. Did you touch me? I know it was you. I'm tired of your shit. And I'm tired of yours, right? Cooking all this pork, there you go. Loo, argument. But you know what? You can just get out. Now you gonna have a harder time keeping the commandments, right?
I'm talking about an even harder time.
Right. But the precept that Officer Yaakov put in the chat was great, you know. In Matthew 5 and 16, you just let your light shine, man, in front of them, and hopefully they'll grasp to it and catch on to it, right? I had to go through the same thing living with my wife's sister when I first got to the truth. And I actually did that too. When I was replacing it with turkey bacon, they still wasn't trying to hear it, but I'm just saying I was on the way too. Like I bought some turkey bacon, though. I threw that away. No.
Let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 2, verse 11. Let's go to Leviticus. Let's see how important it is not to have leaven. Most High God didn't even want us sacrificing with leaven. Leviticus chapter 2, verse 11.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 2, verse 11.
Can you get there? Read that out.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 2, verse 11. No meat offering which ye shall bring unto the Lord shall be made with leaven. With what? With leaven.
It's not serious. The Most High God take that thing, man. That we couldn't even sacrifice with leaven. Read that again. You understand that, sis?
No bread could be made with leaven.
No sacrifices could be made with leaven. Do you know what leaven is, sis? Leaven is yeast. Yeast causes the rise. That's why the Most High God gives a comparison it to sin, because a lot of times sin does what? It rises. When it grows. A lot of times when these things go unchecked, these things rise and grows out of control. Read verse 11 again from the top.
Leviticus chapter 2, verse 11. No meat offering which ye shall bring unto the Lord shall be made with leaven. For ye shall burn no leaven.
For ye shall burn no leaven. It's symbolic, man. Read on up.
Nor any honey in any offering of the Lord made by fire.
That's how detriment this was, man. What was your question, Brother Bilal?
Exodus 12 and 9. It says something about cooking with the head and like
the Puritans thereof.
With the head and the legs, so you can't cut the head off.
That goes into the sacrifice part.
Right.
You got to think.
Let's just get it right quick. Go to Exodus chapter 12 and verse 9. You get to read that out.
Book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 9. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the Puritans thereof. 14.
No, that's all we want. You know what the Puritans is going into?
Has something to do with purity.
The organs. But even like Captain Jerubbaal was saying, this is basically going into what? That lamb as a sacrifice.
Reason why we know that, watch this. Think about Christ. You know, we always reference Christ, man. Because Christ was the ultimate sacrifice, right? Go to John chapter 19. Like brothers and sisters, man, we gotta think. Like when we gotta think when Christ was on the cross and he was ready to die for our nation. Think about how they had to break everybody's to get you off the cross they put you on the cross and they sacrificed you. Get what they mean not sacrifice? When they killed you, they had to break your bones. They broke people's bones to get them down. With Christ, they didn't break his bones. Right? John chapter 19,
Verse 37.
Start at verse 32.
The book of St. John, chapter 19, verse 32. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first.
Right? They broke the leg of the first person that was on the cross, read.
And of the other,
And of the other two, read.
which was crucified with him.
Right, read on.
But when they came to Yahushua
Right.
and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs.
So when they see him dead, guess what? They didn't break his leg. Right? Read.
But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water.
Because blood and water, according to 1 John, that's the reason why you see they was on one accord. When you see they took this one doctrine right here and made a Trinity doctrine, right? In 1 John chapter 5, right? They say Christ and God, they was one, being on one accord. Goes and also they talking about the blood and the water, which goes into the same thing we're going to read in Psalms chapter 34, verse 20 when we read this, because this precept was there, right? Well, read on now.
Verse 35. And he that saw it bare record.
And he that saw it did what?
And he that saw it bare record.
He that saw it bear record. These things go to 1 John chapter 5, verse 5, 6, 7, 8. All these things line up with it, right? Well, read.
And he knoweth that he said true, that ye might believe.
That we might believe, read.
Verse 36, for these things were done, that the scripture should be fulfilled.
What scripture should be fulfilled? The same thing we read in Exodus chapter 12, verse 9. Even when you jump down to Exodus chapter 12, verse 9, and we jump down to verse 46. Because it goes directly into this too. Right, read.
For these things were done, that the scripture should be fulfilled. A bone of him shall not be broken.
A bone of him shall not be broken. That's why when they roasted the lamb, they roasted the whole entire lamb. Like they couldn't even break the bones of the lamb. Right? So just think about it. If we shear the lamb right now, imagine if we shear the lamb and we had the head on it and everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? Just think about it. Are we skillful enough to do this? Y'all gotta think the Levites was some skill. They had real butcher skills. They had real skills, man, that they dealt. That's why the Lord picked them to do that job, man. Why do you think they so crafty with the knife right now, man? They still crafty with these knives, man. Right? Read.
Verse 37. And again, another scripture said, they shall look on him who they pierced.
Right? And this right here goes back, like I said, when you go back to Exodus, chapter 12. You go back to Exodus chapter 12, you read verse 9, then you go jump down to verse 46. Because it goes into this.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 9. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the puritans thereof.
So you supposed to have been roasted everything, right? Head, legs, everything. You couldn't break a bone of this lamb. This lamb's supposed to have been pure to the Lord, right? Jump down to verse 46.
Verse 46. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house.
So you couldn't carry the flesh abroad out of the house, right? Read.
Neither shall you break a bone thereof.
This goes, like I said, goes into the same thing. You couldn't even break the bones of it, right? So when back then in the time we were sacrificing it to the Lord or eating this for the Lord, guess what? When we cook it, we couldn't even break a bone of it. right? And this goes into the same. That's why they kept the head on it, because it couldn't break the bones. So if I cut his head off, I mean I broke a damn bone, right?
Christ, because Christ is what? The what?
Ultimate,
The ultimate lamb. The lamb without blemish. What precept do brothers have? Let's get that right quick. 2 Peter. 1 Peter. Let's get that right quick. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 19. Because Christ is the lamb without blemish. Understand that, Brother Malak? So you want to make sure 1 Peter 1 and 19, Psalms chapter 34, verse 20, John chapter 19, verse 31 through 37. Let's slow it down. We got you. We ain't no here. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 19. Psalms chapter 34, verse 20. And John chapter 19, verses 31 through 37. And also Exodus chapter 12, verse 46. You brothers and sisters have those precepts?
Well, they added one right quick.
Yeah.
So they can get to the basics.
You brothers and sisters got all those precepts. John chapter 19, verses 31 through 37.
Psalms 34 and 2. To the Exodus 34 and 20.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 46.
So Puritans is
The ordinance.
ordinance.
Everything it was born with.
Read 1 Peter 1 and 19.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 19. But with the precious blood of Mashiach, as of a lamb without blemish.
As what?
As of a lamb without blemish.
As of a lamb without blemish. So this is what we see, like we say, a comparison. The Most High God is comparing Christ to the lamb. That's why it's pivotal that brothers and sisters, like we say, do according to the scriptures. Like we say, we could do it exactly the same, but we in captivity. So like we tell brothers and sisters, do the best that you can. And you have some brothers that are able to get a lamb, properly do these things according to the scriptures. But some brothers and sisters have to do what? Go to the farmer's market, or what is I going to say, Boston market. What is that one in North Dallas? Sprouts. Whole Foods. That's what I'm thinking about. Whole Foods to get lamb and so forth. Or these food depots. So you have to do what you have to do to be able to keep the Passover to the best of your ability. What you got? Yes, again, throw away. That's another good point.
You got okay. I was just also thinking about well, Christ gave us a better understanding. Thinking how when we was back in our land and back when we was in captivity, what did Christ tell the disciples for the Passover? Let's see if y'all brothers on the same one accord. What did Christ tell the disciples? He sent them out to go do what? No, they didn't. What we talking about preparing for Passover. What did he send them go do? I just gave you the dang no answer, man. He sent them to do what? He sent them out to go to prepare for the Passover. So he sent them out to go get a place. He sent them out to the bar to go get the food. Just think about what he did with the disciples. What's the precept?
St. John 19:14.
St. John chapter 19, verse 14. Let's go there. He literally sent them out to prepare for the Passover, man. Right? So thinking about how we are in our captivity. So can we what if we had to go out to buy our land? Right? What if we don't raise our own land? What if we can't keep our land for 14 days, right? Read it up.
The book of St. John, chapter 19, verse 14.
This, I mean, you can't go by a minute. 14, where is it? Read.
The book of St. John, chapter 19, verse 14. And it was the preparation of the Passover. And about the 6th hour, he said unto the Jews, Behold your king. But
that ain't what I want. When he sent the disciples out, huh? Luke 22.
Yeah, verse 8.
Let's see what we got. Yeah. That's it.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 22, verse 8. And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat.
Jump up verse 7 now.
Come. The book of St. Luke, chapter 22, verse 7. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed.
So it came the day of unleavened bread when the Passover must be killed, right?
And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat.
So guess what? He literally sent them out there to the markets. So guess what? What if we don't have places that we can go get a Passover that we can go kill and go eat? We got to go to the same market to go, guess what, to buy the lamb and whatever we need right then, man. Right? If Christ did it, this is the same thing we prepare for, man. Why you think Passover that we esteem is so high, man, in Israel? Because if Christ was sending the disciples out to go do it, what you think that we gonna do, man? Oh, another thing I had on my mind too. I know it might be a little too, some of these places, I mean, a lot of places I kind of eat, it'd be too damn expensive to be eating in the first place. But it's a place called Eats, EATZ. During the Passover, they have a menu that you can eat every day. Yes, they got a menu that you can eat every day. It's kind of expensive, on the expensive side, but they got a menu that you can go eat every day, right? So I'm just letting you know that during that time, it's supposed to be unleavened stuff, so it should be all right. So I ain't trying to promote them. This is not a promotion. It's not promoting for them.
Yeah.
But we trying to keep brothers and sisters in the right spirit, though. Y'all trying to, keep this Passover, man. So go ahead.
Let's go back to Exodus chapter 12 and touch on what Brother Judah. Exodus chapter 12 and verse 10. Lamb is expensive. It's expensive for real. Read that right quick, God.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 10. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. And that which remaineth of it until the morning, ye shall burn with fire.
Ye shall what?
Ye shall burn with fire.
In simplest terms, this is basically saying what, brothers? No leftovers. Brothers and sisters, understand that? So whatever we don't eat, we burn. Just let it just burn out on the grill. Just get rid of.
No.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 10.
No, that meaning no leftovers. You can't take leftovers home. You can't take no food home.
20. No leftovers. Any other questions? Want to make sure brothers and sisters have a good understanding. What you have, sis?
I had a question when we talked about the chariot
Uh-huh.
and one and two.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1 and 2.
Talking about,
Yeah.
our fathers being under the cloud and
That's right.
Is that what it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly what it's talking about. The precept that,
And they were baptized.
that's right,
That's okay.
meaning he what gave them the law.
Okay.
Not that they were just being physically dunked underwater. Millions upon millions of Israelites, men say, we know it's very strong, boy. I ain't saying that he couldn't have done it, but we know that it was symbolic, him just teaching them the law. Let's get that right quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1, another precept showing you that it was Christ in the chair.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren,
Who?
brethren,
Read on out.
I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud.
So this is literally letting you know who these people are. All our fathers. And these are some of the things that brothers that teach have to harp on, man, to literally home in the point, especially in 1 Corinthians. All the time, Esau, the other nations, Christians, they think Corinthians always are who? Edomites. They think Corinthians are Edomites, Ephesians are Edomites. All these nations are just Edomites. So damn, ain't no other nations existed. So we always have to home in the points, and the point is all our fathers were baptized under Moses. Read on.
And all passed through the sea, and were all
Now
baptized.
read verse 2 again.
Yeah. And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud.
In the what?
In the cloud.
In the cloud. So yes, this is representation of the chariot. Read on.
And in the sea. And did all eat the same spiritual meat. And did all drink the same spiritual drink.
Read on.
For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. And that rock was Christ.
So it's showing you who taught Moses. Most High God gave the commandments to Christ. Christ gave the commandments to who? To Moses. In that order. What you else is?
Yes, Job 22:14 also precept.
Let's get that right. So 22 and verse 14.
The book of Job, chapter 22, verse 14. Thick clouds are covering to him that seeth not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven.
That's a deeper precept for brothers and sisters that love to go deep.
Job 22 and 14.
Any other questions out there? Read that again up. Yeah.
The book of Job, chapter 22, verse 14. Thick clouds are covering to him that seeth not.
So what are clouds referenced as in the Bible? Do you know, sis? Let's get there. Let's go to the book of Psalms 104 and 3. Thanks, sir. Hold that precept right here so we go into other Bible verses to prove to you what the clouds are. Get that right quick.
The book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 3. Who laid the beams of his chambers in the water? Who maketh the clouds his chariot?
Who maketh the clouds his chariot? So the Most High God is giving us a parable saying how he compares clouds to chariots or vehicles of the Most High. So the things that people see, basically UFOs, Those are the chariots of the Most High, or the vehicles that the angels travel in to go to and fro in the earth. You understand that, sis?
Are they white?
Say it again.
Are they white globes?
No, that's not what the Bible describes them as. In the book of Ezekiel, let's get there right quick. The book of Ezekiel describes what they look like. Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 10. You get to read that out.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 6. And every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
So it's describing the angels, what they look like, certain angels. All angels don't look like just regular men. Read on.
And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
Read that again.
And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
So it says that they sparkle like burnished brass. What color is burnished brass? It's brown.
So those are the chariots.
No, these are the angels.
Angels.
So the angels are what color?
Brass.
Brass. Sparkling like burnished brass. Read on.
Verse 8. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides. And they 4 had their faces and their wings.
So it's, you know that it's describing the angels because the angels have wings as described in the scripture. Jump up to verse 4.
Verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud.
So that's describing the chariots that they come in. Remember, the cloud is a reference. Do you know what a parable is, sis? A parable is comparing 2 things. So the Most High God compares his vehicles to clouds because they fly. Read that again up.
Come. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud.
A great cloud. Read on.
And a fire enfolding itself.
A fire enfolding in itself. Because even the images that we see of spaceships, normally they have what? Fire in and out, right? Read on.
And a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst
it says, and a brightness was about it, because when you see it, it's full of what? Full of lights. Even when we see them, sometimes brothers and sisters see them, it's just a beam of light that guess what? They zoom past. A lot of times brothers and sisters may think it's like shooting stars and so on and so forth. There can be like chariots of the Most High. No, we talking about the chariots. I thought you was talking about the angels.
Yeah. Being that, like I was saying, because I remember we was back when we used to be with what you call the other camp. Me and Maccabee, we were coming back from class, and we seen, I don't know what went across the sky, man. We kind of had a conversation going. It kind of knocked the pause, and you know how you get a book and they knock the pause in you a little bit. That's what the thing did. It went across the sky. It was like green, yellow, red, blue, pink, just like that. It's just like boom, 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 boom. You seen it kind of went across the sky. Both of us kind of sit back and I see you like, what the hell was that? Right? We couldn't explain it. I mean, I just see the colors, but I couldn't tell you what it was. But I mean, it's always kind of different stuff that it can be different things. Like the Lord kind of can show you, you know. And but also like the scripture saying, it can be clouds too. Right? What you guys see?
Hold on, let's go back to Job. What you finish to explain? Hold up, sis.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go back to Job. Because we want to make sure sisters have a good understanding. So the Most High God is just comparing the chariots to clouds. He also compares them to whirlwinds. He also compares them to horses. Go back to Job chapter 22 and verse 14.
The book of Job, chapter 22, verse 14. Thick clouds are a covering to him that seeth not.
It says thick clouds, meaning the chariots are a covering to him that seeth not. Seeth what not? Meaning the understanding of the scriptures, the understanding of the law. That's what Christ's job was while they were in the wilderness. That's why we went to what? 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Let's go back. So these are precepts to help you understand it more. So we know brothers and sisters, like we may have new brothers and sisters, certain brothers and sisters that are already that are in here that have been in the truth for a number of years. We can go to the precepts backwards so brothers and sisters are understanding. But sometimes you have to put the precepts in order to home in the point. Read this right quick.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1 from the top. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud.
We're under the what?
Were under the cloud.
What is that cloud, sis? A what? Say it again. That cloud is making reference to a chariot. Read that again up.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud.
Were under the cloud. The cloud is making reference to a what? A chariot. Read on.
And all passed through the sea. And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud.
In the what?
In the cloud.
Meaning what? Christ was in that chariot teaching and guiding the children of Israel, sis, throughout the wilderness.
So anytime I see the word cloud, it's
No.
a parable for the
No.
chariot.
And that's where what comes into play, brothers and sisters. Discernment and context. So sometimes it can be literally talking about a cloud, sis, but sometimes it can be talking about parabolically. Shut up, sisters. A chariot of the Most High. But that's where spiritual discernment comes into play.
Nobody can say that parabolic like you. And
Read on up.
Verse 3.
Verse 2 again.
Select verse 2. And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea.
And in the sea. This is the point to let you know it's not a regular cloud. Read on.
And then all eat the same spiritual meat.
Because think about it, sis. If you're on the cloud, how are you going to eat spiritual meat? Just on the real cloud. These are some things that brothers and sisters have to think on. Read on.
And then all drink the same spiritual drink.
Meaning Christ was giving them deep understandings of the scriptures and of the law. Go ahead, you can say something.
It's the same thing, like, just like when you read from Sirach chapter 44 all the way to Sirach chapter 51, it goes in. What do brothers think it goes into? I want to see what y'all understand. Sirach chapter 44 through 51. What do y'all think it goes? What right off the top of your mind before you even make it there? What it goes to? It goes through history of our forefathers, right? So basically, in Sirach chapter 44, this is going to basically go from Adam all the way through every one of our forefathers. It's going to go through King David, Solomon, Phineas, through all our forefathers, right? Go to.
Hello, I want to finish this. Read verse 3 right quick.
Go ahead.
Because I want sister to lose the thought.
No, it's going to go into the same thing.
Read verse 3. Huh? No. We're going back to 1 Corinthians. Remember, these are precepts to give you a better understanding about the precept in the book of Job. Read verse 3 again.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. And that all eat the same spiritual meat.
So Christ in that cloud, in the chariot, was doing what? Guiding and teaching the children of Israel. You understand, sis? Read on.
Verse 4. And that all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them.
That what?
That followed them.
How was they being followed? I want to see if you by the clouds, which is a what? That's right. Read on.
And that rock was Christ.
And that rock was Christ, letting you know it was Christ after in the wilderness with them, teaching and guiding them. Go ahead,
I understand. Thank you.
It's because I don't want to give them too much. I don't want.
Oh, the answer.
What you got?
Okay. So the understanding I was trying to get was, okay, when it said that they was baptized in the like spiritual in the word.
That's right.
So they was in it like as it was going through like Red Sea, right? And so that's what
Remember, even throughout that time, Christ was teaching and guiding through Moses.
right, but I'm saying, is that what they're talking about? When it says,
Remember, not at the same time.
right,
Is that what you're trying to say? Like, were they?
not at the
He
same
just-
time, but like,
It's just giving a reference point of things that's going on.
right,
Remember, they went through the Red Sea. After they came out the Red Sea, you know that the Most High God destroyed the Egyptians. But then that's when Christ started to teach the children of Israel. He went up to the mountain to get the commandments, even from that time all the way up and all that time in the wilderness.
right. So as they was going through the Red Sea, that they was getting the word. Is that what they're saying? Like they was.
It's not verbatimly said.
Yeah, it's not verbatim.
Like you know, Israel, our forefathers, we passed through what? The Red Sea. Those basically, they're saying is basically going through the people that went through the Red Sea is going through us.
It's basically when they were going through the Red Sea, this goes into a covering.
Our defense, and that's the word I got. It's cloud can go for a lot of. I want to get another precept too to show you the cloud can mean a lot of rain. That's a cloud.
That is a claim.
Cloud go through a lot of things. That's our defense. That's our covering, right?
And Job 22 is basically saying that.
That's right.
That homes in the point.
It is.
Read Job chapter 22, verse 14.
Every firmament also.
I wouldn't put it that.
I wouldn't say that.
Firmament just going into a level of the sky. Read that right quick.
The book of Job, chapter 22, verse 14. Thick clouds are a covering to him that seeth not.
Read that again.
Thick clouds are a covering to him that seeth not.
Thick clouds are a covering to him that seeth not. Brother Bilal, what does that mean?
Basically, some kind of protection that you don't know about. You might be coming into something, and the cloud is, I guess, protecting you.
Help him out, Ezekiel, y'all.
So they tell the covenant for those the clouds was the other. I'm not saying outside with that light, with that cloud that was covering was to see in the day and in the night for those that kept the commandments.
To help, that's right. And even home in a point to help us what? Understand the scriptures. Then see it not. Say it again, Brother Block.
Would that be like guidance?
Yes, that's exactly what that's going into. Read verse 22, verse 14 again.
Job 22, verse 14. Thick clouds are a covering to him that seeth not.
That see it what? That see it not what? It says that see it not. What are they not seeing? The law, the understanding of the scriptures. We need that cloud. We need Christ as a hedge of protection, as a covering for us to give us what? Better understanding of the scriptures.
So clouds basically gave us what? And this ties into a second Esdras, man. What you say, Doc? 14. That's not what I'm looking at. Second Esdras. I'm gonna help you out. Fire on the right hand. Yes. So when we walking, what is that's why you say it goes into protection, it goes into guidance. That's what the law, statutes, and the commandments goes into. Think about God's law. God's law goes into what? Protection. God's law goes into guidance. God's law goes into direction, understanding, wisdom. God's laws is this is our wisdom in sight of the nations, right?
Let's go to Hebrews right quick, 12. Show you cloud has a lot of different meanings. Ultimately, like I'm saying, that meaning of the cloud is going into our defense, our protection. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses.
So great a cloud of what?
Witnesses.
A cloud of witnesses. What is this cloud going into? Who said that? Forefather? What made you say that? You right. What made you say that? You just got it written down. I'll pray. So if you go into Hebrews chapter 11, chapter 11 is giving us the rundown of our forefathers having that faith and what they encountered and went through, right? Chapter 12 revisits that and lets you know us having a cloud of witness. So basically that cloud of witness is going into our forefathers, right? Because you know, 1 Peter 5 and 10 said what? You need to learn from your forefathers, right? You learn from the things that they went through. That's the cloud of witness that we're going into in 12 and 1. That cloud is going into our forefathers, right? But ultimately, it's going into what? Our defense. Christ being in the cloud and chariot, that's our defense. Us looking back on our forefathers and seeing where they went wrong or where they went right, that's our defense, right? That's that cloud. Read that out.
God. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses.
A great cloud of witnesses. You see that? Cloud of witnesses, right? Who are those witnesses? You can look over in chapter 11. You see Jericho, Rahab. You can see all of our forefathers at that time was the cloud of witnesses at that time.
Let us lay aside every weight in the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
So, like I said, basically what I'm saying is ultimately the cloud is going into some kind of defensive mechanism, right? For something that our fortified things that we have. I can't put fortification. I ain't going to try. But yes, go ahead, Bob.
Did y'all touch that Sirach 24? Read that right quick. Start at verse 1. 24 and 1.
So let me, since you just asked them were they being taught while they were going through the Red Sea, right? So even like Oxtem is bringing out, I just really understood your precept. I mean, your question. Yeah. So even within that, remember, the scriptures also does what? Even like Captain Yara said, they comfort us. So yes, I'm pretty sure Christ is out there comforting them through that Red Sea. You know, so yeah, that is a form of.
You gotta think about it. Well, I already know. Well, you got a sea part.
Right.
You like, man, hell nah, I ain't running through that, man. Hell nah.
Go through there.
Hell nah. You running
right through there.
You want to do that same, man. I don't know about that one, man.
And you got to think, the water closing in behind them.
And the army coming too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That is, man. That's some powerful stuff.
Go to 24:1 right quick. Read you.
The book of Sirach, chapter 24, verse 1. Wisdom shall praise herself, and shall glory in the midst of her people. In the congregation of the Most High.
In the congregation of the Most High, read.
Shall she open her mouth and triumph before his power.
Right? Then this is going to explain in verse 3.
I came out of the mouth of the Most High.
He said he did what?
I came out of the mouth of the Most High.
Right, read.
And covered the earth as a cloud.
So this is the same thing. This is them being baptized, man. He covered the earth as a cloud, man. Right? Going into the same thing while I is touching on, man. Read.
Verse 4. I dwelt in high places, and my throne is as a cloudy pillar.
And his throne is as a what?
As is in a cloudy pillar.
His throne is in a cloudy pillar, man. Going into the same thing that we're touching on right now, man. So this was the same covering, the same thing. Guess what? You got to think the motivation. That's why you think the Lord said. Why you think the Lord is our talking about us staying on path, right? Class, brothers, class. About us walking down the straight and narrow path, right? These things tie into the scriptures, man, to help build us up, right? Because Christ is the one that's gonna be right there. Hey, brother, you can do it. Come on, come on. That's the same thing you do for us now. Come on, y'all. Come on, come on, come on, right? He do us the same way right now, man. Right? Go ahead. Oh, matter of fact, I know he's doing something. Go to Sirach 49.
We got you. So let's see, you got a question. Hold on, we got you.
We got you. Sirach 49.
Okay. We still in the same realm.
Yeah. Sirach 49 and verse 8.
The book of Sirach, chapter 49, verse 8. It was Ezekiel who saw the glorious vision.
So this goes back into this Ezekiel chapter 1, right? He said Ezekiel seen the glorious vision. So that means that's why Sirach, that's one reason why these books has to be canon, right? He said Ezekiel seen the glorious vision. What did he see, y'all?
Oh, so like, which was showed him upon the chariot of the cherubims.
So he was seeing the vision of the what? The chariots and the cherubim, right? So what Ezekiel did, he was trying to explain this thing the best way he could explain it, because just like the Lord show us something, we gonna have to explain this like. So these right here goes into the precepts of when you going into Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4, 5, 6, all the way down, and start talking about the chariot. So these, make sure you write this down. He's Sirach chapter 49 and verse 8, man, right? Jump over Sirach 48, verse 9.
The book of Sirach, chapter 48, verse 9, who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire and in a chariot of fiery horses.
And who is this? Elijah. So he went into a what too? He went into a chariot, man. He was taken up too, man. Taken into a cloudy pillar, man. And if you read it up,
No, I'm gonna tell you that's a great precept, because guess what? What do that precept have in there? Any brother or sister? What does that precept have in there? Read that again, man.
Who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire.
And what else? Keep reading.
And in a chariot of fiery horses.
It got all of them in there. I'm talking about all three of them. That's a great precept to show you all those things are symbolic one of another. What did you have, sis? Yes, that's another precept that brothers and sisters could use. How Christ is gonna come back in a cloud and judge Egypt. Let's get that right quick. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. Make sure y'all write those precepts down, man. You can read that up. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt.
And shall do what?
And shall come into Egypt.
And shall come into Egypt. Read on.
And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence.
Now, when is this talking about? When is this talking about? Did this already happen, or is it going to happen? Or is it a prophecy? What is it, Ezekiel? It's a future prophecy. Read that again up.
Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Talking about when he comes into what? To invade America. Because we know that America is Babylon the Great. This place is full of many idols. He's making a reference to that because it is similar to when they was in the Egyptian captivity. They had many idols as well. That's what the Most High God called this place spiritual Egypt and Babylon. Any other questions? What you got out? Say it again, 11 and 8. Yeah. Just to make the reference that America is. Isaiah 19 and verse 1. Any other questions out there? Anything concerning Passover? Pray that brothers and sisters got a good understanding. If not, more classes coming out. So you telling brothers to touch on different aspects of Passover. That's the assignment from here on up. Any other questions? Ever hold your peace?
Oh, there was one question online. Marriott, I see. It said we are cooking the Passover, but we wanted to cook extra meat to have a feast after Passover for the start of Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Well, let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 22 and verse 1. which is the Passover.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 22, verse 1. Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover.
Which is called what?
Which is called the Passover.
So the Passover and unleavened bread is going on the same day. So even like we equate it with that, like we say, whatever you are doing for Passover, that's what you're doing for unleavened bread. But Feast of Unleavened Bread, you eat what? 6 days. That Passover, the things on the Passover, you have to get rid of that. So it's no leftovers, brother. No leftovers.
Like I was touching on, why did the Lord call the piece of unleavened bread the Passover? Jump down to verse 7.
Luke chapter 22, verse 7. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed.
Read that again.
Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed.
This is why the Lord called the feast of unleavened bread Passover, because on the first day of unleavened bread, the Passover must be killed. Right? It's supposed to be, guess what? Brothers got to get into that frame of mind. You're going to have to keep the Passover for all these days, right? That's why the Lord literally called it, because that day the Passover, must be killed. So that means unleavened bread started that day, and the Passover started the same day. That's why the Lord called it, right?
I know Sister Deborah was asking about Exodus 12 and 11. Let's get that right quick. Says, shall we eat in a similar manner when we have the Passover meal? Let's read that right quick. Eat it in haste. Exodus chapter 12 and verse 11.
The book of Exodus.
No, go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 11. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
Read on.
Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night.
This what?
This night.
That night. Read on.
It will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt. I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
He is what?
I am the Lord.
So we know there was a particular situation to where we had to be on our P's and Q's, because the Most High God was going to be ready to do what? Kill all the firstborn. So we know that we'll be what? Ready to retaliate. We have to get up out of there.
Read verse 12 again.
Verse 12 from the top. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night.
You said what?
This night.
That night is what you're supposed to do.
Let's give an example. Let's go to the book. What precept brothers got? Y'all remember the precepts? I gotta write some things down, man. To give an example on why they did it in that time. I gotta say it like that, not to give y'all the answer. 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and verse 21. So it's always examples. That's for Romans chapter 15, verse 4. These things are written for our what? For our learning.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30, verse 21. And the children of Israel that were present at Jerusalem kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with great gladness. And the Levites and the priests praised the Lord day by day, singing with loud instruments unto the Lord.
So in this time, we see during a time of what? We see that they kept it with gladness and happiness. So they wasn't in haste at this time. That was specific for that time, because the Most High God was going to bring an ultimate judgment upon Egypt. That's right. Great point too. Any other questions? Did we miss something?
Yeah, she put another question.
Okay. Let's get there right quick. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Remember, this second Exodus is going to be far more greater than the first one. So this one won't even be talked about. This first one, that's how glorious this one is going to be, man. Yeah. And we put Captain Jerubbaal and Captain Yards in there too. Yeah, baby, get my precept. What precept in Ezekiel? Y'all know what I want, brothers? That it'll be much more glorious than this. Damn it. 25. That this damn, I lost my thought. That's a lie. That this we won't even be talking about the first Exodus. Yes. Any brother know where that's at? Come on, my Bible preceptors. Any brother know? Ezra, what you got? Restock, you been quiet back there. What you got, man? You don't know the precept? Jeremiah or Ezekiel? Nobody got the precept. What the fuck? Jeremiah 16:14. Yeah, I know it's like something about Ezekiel. I get confused. I got a precept. That's what I want. Yeah, 14. Yeah, 16:14. Read that right quick, now.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that it should be no more said, that it shall no more be said. The Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them.
And from the lands whither he had driven thee. So we know in this second Exodus is going to be much more glorious. Get another precept, 28 and verse 8 of Jeremiah. So this Exodus is going to be on a whole nother level. Now, which one did you say? 23 and 7. Thanks, because we know in this second Exodus, we're going to be taken up by the chariots this time.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 7. Therefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up, in which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country.
Out of the what?
Out of the north country.
Out of the north country. What is the north country, brothers? North America. Read on.
And from all countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land.
And they shall dwell. So this is going to be a much more glorious, because we're not going to even talk about that first Exodus anymore. Literally be taken up in the chariot. So we won't have to worry about that. Any other questions? Any other questions? With that, we give our honor and praises to the Most High. We always tell brothers and sisters to subscribe, like, share the videos, help us push this truth. Thanks for brothers and sisters that have been donating to the cause. We say that money is being used wisely and according to the scriptures. We always tell brothers and sisters to keep the laws of the Most High. So let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. Want to make sure that brothers and sisters understand the assignment and the mission and the goal of preparing for Passover. You know, removing and purging and cleansing yourself from all uncleanliness, sin, guilt, malice. That's right. So brothers are giving many alley-oops for classes, man. But you tighten them things down and coming with the precepts. You get there, read that out.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven.
Read it again out.
Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump.
Purge out the old leaven that you may be a new lump. And that's what Passover is all about. Coming into a fresh new year. Brothers and sisters need to be having a fresh new spirit, man. Understanding that, guess what? The time is getting short. We see in Russia, see in Ukraine, we're seeing these allies, guess what? Aligning themselves. And guess what? Most of God is putting them on each side to have them to do what? Come one against another, man. To literally set off what? World War III in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. This thing is real, brothers and sisters, man. So we need to constantly be trying to do what? Prepare ourselves for these things, man. Read on, huh?
As ye are unleavened.
As ye are what?
As ye are unleavened.
Meaning what? We're trying to get our spirits right. We're putting back on the commandments. Guess what? We're becoming what? Unleavened. Meaning what? Righteous, spiritual men and women, man, according to the scriptures. Read on.
For even a Mashiach, our Passover, is crucified for us.
Read on.
Therefore, let us keep the feast.
Let us do what?
Let us keep the feast.
Let us do what, brothers?
Let us keep the feast.
Read on, huh?
Not with old leaven.
Not with old leaven. Not with that old man and that old sister you used to be, man. Read on.
Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
Read on.
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
And with that, we say shalom.